Hey guys, another Lincoln Chronicle here. So let's talk about the fuel pump. So the 66 has a 3-port Carter fuel pump. There are 2 ports out there. The 3-port is preferred because it has a valve on it for fuel vapor to help with vapor lock. Let's take a look at the pump. So I've already pulled it off the engine. So there's a heat shield that has 3 of the screws on it. The pump itself has another 3 screws, 6 total screws. So this holds the whole unit together. This is the top half. So the top half comes off. You remove these 2 screws. Then the top section comes off. That's this piece here. You just replace the rubber gasket. So here's the old gasket that was in there. That's not what was leaking. What was actually leaking is the actual diaphragm. So that's this piece here. Okay, that was leaking. It was cracked on the edges. That gets replaced here. To get this out, the big pain with this one is taking out the rod that holds the arm in here. So the rod is underneath this plug. In order to pull that plug out, what I did, and I don't think I have it, I'm trying to look for the part. What I did is I drilled a little hole in the top of the plug, and then I put a scrap screw in there and then just pried it out. Once I got that out, I was able to take the pin out. This is the old pin. Okay, you get the pin out, you take the arm out. Once you get the arm out, the entire diaphragm comes up because the arm is stuck, or kind of it rides on the bottom of the diaphragm here. So the arm is really holding the diaphragm in right now. So new diaphragm, put the arm back in, new pin in, new plug, just press that one on there. Then replace this piece. The only thing I noticed here, and I have it, it doesn't come in the kit, and it's the vapor discharge valve. So this is the 3rd port on these, okay? So the vapor discharge valve, there's not much to it. I kind of cleaned it, but it basically has this spring in it, right? It's kind of a coiled spring, and you can see it kind of, it barely moves in and out. I'll try and get it. Can't really see it. Anyway, it moves in and out as the heat changes, as the temperature changes on the pump. And so when it gets hot, it releases some of the, let me get that in, I'm doing it with 2 hands. It releases some of the, some of the vapor pressure in there so that you don't get too much pressure. Okay, so this is the one trick I'm going to show you guys, and then we'll finish this up. So when I'm putting this together, right, the problem was not putting it together and not taking it apart. It was getting it off of the dang car was the problem. And the reason for that, I'm going to kind of half-ass assemble it for you. The reason was the heat shield, when you're sitting here, right, this is the front, that's the back on the engine itself. When the heat shield is on, if you notice, you've got 2 bolts on the front. Well, the left side bolt you can take off no problem. When you've got the heat shield on it, you can't get to the right side bolt. So what I did, once I got it off, it was really hard to do. I had to use a wobble socket, and I don't really like using a wobble. What I did is I just trimmed the heat shield a little bit. So it gave it a little radius in here. So now I'll be able to get just a regular old, let's do this without it on. I'll be able to get a regular socket in there. So we can put this like that, and see that there? It'll give me clearance to get in there with a socket, so I can go in without anything special. Okay, that's basically it. Should be everything. I'll just put it back together, put it back on the car, and then we'll talk about the transmission, not the engine transmission, but the transmission for the flipper panel. I got a stripped out gear. I ordered a new one. I'll show you how to take that apart and change the gears out, okay? That's it for now. See ya.